Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is December 26th. We have multiple trades, multiple signings, including Munetaka Murakami. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? Merry Christmas to you all. I have been gifted a Christmas cold, so if this episode is a little worse for wear, or you have me coughing a little bit more in it than usual, my apologies, but I hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas, very happy holidays. Hopefully you guys are getting everything that you guys want, as well as players signing for your team. I guess some teams did get some Christmas presents this Christmas from all their favorite baseball team owners and their new favorite players, as we continue to have more and more signings happen across the league. We're almost into January, which is the last month of definitive no baseball, because then February at least you have spring training, and then you got the World Baseball Classic, and then next thing you know, we're in April and it's baseball season back once again. So get excited for that. For today's episode, we've got a few things on the agenda, so let's dive right on in. Excuse me. And we're talking about Munetaka Murakami. His deadline was running out. People were thinking, would he not sign? What was the holdup? He ends up signing a 2-year, $34 million deal with the team everyone thought he was going to go to. The Chicago White Sox, of all teams, signed a big-time free agent. That's pretty remarkable. And the more you think about it, the more you think this move makes actually a lot of sense. Sometimes, we've talked about how players who come over from the Japanese league, they sometimes will struggle. First time around in MLB, Murakami has all the power in the world. We know that. We know that from the World Baseball Classic 4 years ago. That is a check. We know that. But how much is his discipline, how much is his strikeout numbers going to affect him in Major League Baseball? That is a question. By signing with the White Sox, you get no pressure. You don't have to worry about, falling into, I immediately need to perform for this playoff team that I signed for, etc. Murakami can ease his way into MLB, figure it out with the White Sox, who are young and starting to be fun and upcoming. There are players that you start to know and you start to remember that kind of made impacts last year for the White Sox. Now you get a guy like Murakami who, obviously you have Robert Jr. there right now, so he's not a face of a franchise, but he's a big name, and he comes with a big market from Japan. If you're wondering why this guy who we were talking about, 2 free agencies ago, about, when this guy comes into the league, watch out, because Murakami's a big, bad man, why it took so long for him to get a deal done, why a deal got done with the White Sox of all teams in general, his strikeout numbers are alarming. When you think of a player comp, you're thinking of those power guys that strike out a ton. The guys like Joey Gallo, for example, when he was with the Rangers, everyone feared this man, but how long did that fear last across his career before he's now trying to sign as a pitcher with some teams? So it's up and down there. Murakami has the home run swing. That is not anything that we don't know about. In 8 seasons in the Japanese league, he's got 265 home runs. He has a 273 batting average and a 945 OPS. The strikeout numbers that come with that, though, across those 8 seasons, 1,068. So those Ks do add up. Last year, in 2025, he hits 24 home runs, a 1.051 OPS, had 71 strikeouts, only playing 69 games, though, did spend some of the season hurt. But yeah, you look through his years, What do you notice? You notice he's going to get you plenty of home runs. You can single out that 2022 season where he had 56 homers, a 318 batting average, a 1.168 OPS, and 128 strikeouts. 25 intentional walks, though. That's pretty crazy. So, yeah, the White Sox are getting a big BAP power bat. Left-hander. He's got a very nice swing, and when he's got his power stroke going, I mean, it's very impressive. I'm excited to watch him in the Southside with the jersey on, the City Connect. I like the pairing. And yeah, like I said, I think it's great for him to be able to adjust. I mean, he's only, 25 years old? Going on to 26 this year. So having that extra time to adjust, not in a pressure situation like we saw Roki Sasaki in last year with the Dodgers, first couple games was really struggling, then got hurt, never really found his form until the end of the year. It'll be interesting to see how he goes into his second year, but for a guy like Murakami, again, pressure is different when you're a power bat. You don't want to just be up there and just be striking out every single time. You want to be able to contribute, and you want to learn the new game, right? It's the same baseball game you've played your entire life, but it is a different pressure, a different, level of baseball that at the top levels of the Japanese league. So Murakami signed to the White Sox and is a major league ball player for the first time in his career coming over from the Japanese league. Very excited to see him play, and I think many of you are as well, because he's a big reason we're talking about him today. Well, what? As you can see, when I'm sick, my mind also ends up leaving too, so you never know. Anyways, let's move on now. We had a couple trades go down this past week. The first one that went down was that the Red Sox, they're trading for Wilson Contreras from the Cardinals. Bit of a shocker, considering the Cardinals signed him, a year or two ago to, I think, a 3-4 year deal. But now he's a member of the Red Sox, and I don't think the Cardinals are done. I think Arenado's being shopped around. You could convince me that some guys like, Arenado obviously is a big one, but maybe even a guy like Lars Nootbaar could be traded. Maybe a guy like Brendan Donovan. I don't know what the Cardinals' direction is going to be going for in 2025, but I can tell you it's not going to be good. This is the second time the Red Sox and Cardinals have made a trade this offseason. Of course, the earlier one was for Sonny Gray. Now Boston is also picking up Wilson Contreras. Both of them get to go over together. At least they have a friend. The Cardinals are getting a triplet of pitching prospects from the Red Sox, headlined by right-handed pitcher Hunter Dobbins. That's the main guy, the main takeaway of the package here. The other two are both right-handed pitchers as well. One is Blake Aita, and the other one is Yoker Fajardo. And those are definitely both wrong. And I don't know how to pronounce those names off the top of reading them from my screen here. But Wilson Contreras is a player I do know, and a player that we can talk about here because Boston is picking up what I assume to be first base. I don't think they're going to use him as the catcher. He made that switch over last year with the Cardinals after spending 2 years with them. So he signed in 2023. Has spent the last 3 years with the Cardinals, playing in 344 games, where he's hit 55 home runs, a 261 batting average, and an 817 OPS. He's still a solid ball player, still a solid hitter, but since leaving Chicago, where he spent the first 7 years of his career, he has not been an All-Star. He was a 3-time All-Star with the Cubs, as well as on the 2016 World Series Chicago team. People forget that he was there. That was his first year of his career. Debuted in 2016. Was an All-Star in 2018, 19, and 2022, which was the year he left the Cubs. Cardinals picked him up, and each year he's been good, but his numbers are getting progressively worse slowly. Last year, definitely still a good year for a ball player. 126 hits, a 257 batting average, a 791 OPS, but that's his lowest OPS since 2021, where he played 128 games, had a 778 OPS that year, had 21 home runs. But yeah, Wilson Contreras, he's a solid guy. He's a solid right-handed hitter. Good glove at first base, and we know the Red Sox have had some issues having first basemen stay healthy for pretty much the whole year for the last, 2 or 3 years. Obviously, Tristan Casas and his injury career, plays a part in that, but you get a veteran kind of staple guy, a guy who's won a World Series, a guy who's been an All-Star a couple years. I mean, that checks off all the boxes that you're really looking for if you're a top team trying to improve like Boston is. So I like the move for them. They're going to keep spending some prospects here. I'm still waiting for them to make that kind of big splash signing. I think they're still in the mix for things. They lost Bregman. Lost. Bregman's a free agent. But that's the capital that I think they could go out and maybe make a move on a Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, etc. So I think that's not out of the question there for Boston yet. Just a matter of will they, won't they? Excuse me once again. But yeah, Boston makes the move there. Moving on to the other trade that happened. This one a little bit more, not really surprising if I'm being honest. Like I started to say surprising, but it really isn't. The A's and the Mets are making a trade. The A's are trading away, not trading away, the A's are trading for Jeff McNeil as well as some cash from the Mets. The Mets are getting a prospect right-handed pitcher, Yordan Rodriguez, in return. And a quick pivot, the Red Sox, while receiving Wilson Contreras, are also receiving some cash from the Cardinals to help pay off some of that contract. Jeff McNeil, now a member of the A's. And, I mean, it just kind of goes to show you that the Mets, I think, had a clubhouse issue. It seems like they're trying to recreate the culture around Lindor and Soto because they've traded away Brandon Nimmo to the Rangers. Now they're trading Jeff McNeil away to the A's. They've lost guys in free agency. Like, it just seems like the Mets are trying to restructure their team on a fly, and they know they're getting overall on paper worse players, but they're being able to create the culture that they're looking for, and that will create a good clubhouse atmosphere, and that will create a good team. You're replacing McNeil with Simeon, Polanco, I guess you replace with Nimmo in terms of offensive production. But yeah, Nimmo was the longest tenured Met. Then he got traded to the Rangers, and then Jeff McNeil was the longest tenured Met, which lasted for about a month before he is now left. So in terms of longest tenured Met, I don't know who that would be exactly in terms of like debuting playing baseball. I know excuse me, Vientos was drafted in 2017. He is technically the longest tenured Met, as well as Ronnie Mauricio, who signed as an amateur free agent out of the Dominican that year. But Mets culture has definitely changed a little bit. No Pete Alonso, no Edwin Diaz, no Brandon Nimmo, no Jeff McNeil now. So what are the A's getting? The A's are getting a 2-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger, a batting title winner. Obviously, those incredible Jeff McNeil years are a little bit past him now, but he is still an all-right and average ball player. Last year with the Mets in his age 33 season, played in 122 games, 97 hits, picked up 12 homers, a 243 batting average, a 746 OPS. That was the most OPS he had since 2022, which was his fantastic year where he was an All-Star for the second time. He won his Silver Slugger that year and finished 15th in MVP voting. So that's a good sign to kind of look up into and look at when you look at the Jeff McNeil era. I think there's a little bit left in the tank here. He's a veteran presence, contact guy. And he's joining an A's lineup that is just filled with talent and young talent ready to just surprise everyone this year. I'm very excited about this A's team going into 2026 if they can get another pitcher or two. I mean, the A's could really compete in that division. They have the talent, man. I'm telling you, Nick Kurtz alongside Shea Langoliers and Tyler Soderstrom and Brent Rooker and like all those guys there, Lawrence Butler, sign me up, man. I will be on the A's team going into 2026. I'm very excited for what they can do. And now you bring in Jeff McNeil to help out with that. Like I said, I still think he's got, enough juice in the tank to help out for the next year or two. So watch out for Jeff McNeil. He is back with the A's, and I say back because he was actually drafted with the A's, but then traded to the Mets, where he made his debut and has been a Met for his entire career in terms of Major League playing time, and is now spending it with the A's as he goes into his age 34 season. Yes, age 34 season for Jeff McNeil, and the Mets continue to move players around as need be. This brings us into some more news, and I am trying to go a little bit faster because, again, like I said, this episode kind of bad with me being sick and me coughing every, 2 minutes or so. But it is the Christmas time, and in Christmas, you get sick sometimes. It is what it is. Anyways, we're talking about the A's because they are doing a big boy signing, or should I say extension. The A's have extended Tyler Soderstrom to a 7-year deal worth $86 million. This is a big-time deal, a big-time extension for a team that is currently rebranding, currently moving to Las Vegas, and they are locking up one of their many young, talented stars, Tyler Soderstrom. It's the largest guaranteed deal in the A's franchise history, the biggest bag they've ever given out. 7 years, $86 million. It's early stages of the contract, but from what I've seen online, it appears that there is an 8th-year club option as well as some escalators that can make this deal from 7 years, $86 million, all the way up to 8 years, $131 million, depending on, obviously, how Soderstrom does in the deal. This is a crazy big deal, for the A's. I'm sure this is a really welcomed Christmas gift for A's fans out there. Soderstrom, he's been doing it now with the A's for 3 seasons. He got a little bit of taste in the majors in 2023, where he debuted, played 45 games, hit his first couple of home runs. Nothing crazy. Followed it up with another appearance late into the year in 2024. He played 61 games, 44 hits, another 9 homers, 743 OPS, decent numbers there. Last year was his first official year in the show. Played 158 games, and he balled out a 4.3 WAR, 155 hits, 34 doubles, 25 homers, 93 RBIs. He had a 276 batting average and an 820 OPS. And clearly the A's think he's just getting started. Gives him a bag. I mean, you throw him in the likes of Jacob Wilson and Nick Kurtz and Lawrence Butler. I'm telling you, this A's team, this A's lineup is looking very, very good. And if you're Soderstrom, that's just a huge vote of confidence into you and into your career. And that just makes you want to play better. Simple as that. You get a team who gives you a deal like this, who believes in you. The largest deal in the franchise history. Obviously some players come up and they're young in the team and everything, but think about Ricky Henderson. Think of the Matt excuse me. Think about the Matt Chapmans, Matt Olsons, the Chris Bassett's, the Sean Manayas, all the players, the great players who played with the A's. And now the name Tyler Soderstrom is the one that is the answer to the question, which A's deal is the largest in their franchise history. It is Tyler Soderstrom, and that's a really cool feeling for you to have, especially as a 24-year-old kid. Like he's only 24. Like that's very impressive stuff. I'm very happy for Tyler Soderstrom, and excited to see what he will be doing for the A's team in 2026. It's a big deal here. And honestly, if this is what the A's are kind of shaping up to do, I don't think Soderstrom might be the only one. I mean, like, if I was them, I'd be trying to lock up Nick Kurtz, trying to lock up Jacob Wilson. Like, you got to lock up as many of these guys as possible. And I think for them, in their mind, they're trying to do that. And the Soderstrom one is just like a taste of what's to come. I think it's a step in the right direction for them as a franchise as well. And I'm sure fans are very happy. Obviously, they wish they could have done that when they were in Oakland, but it is what it is. Very happy for Soderstrom. Get your bag, get your money, get your funny up. But yeah, Tyler Soderstrom, big 7-year extension with the club option. Excuse me, for that 8th year. So yeah, really solid stuff there for him and for A's fans. Merry Christmas is what they said to them. Moving on here, talking about more cheap franchises here. The Pirates, they are signing Ryan O'Hearn. It's a 2-year deal worth $29 million. And if you're thinking this isn't that big of a deal, well, you'd be right in a way, because Ryan O'Hearn is a good ball player. He was an all-star for the first time in his career last year when he was with Baltimore. Spent most of his career with the Royals when he came up in 2018. The last 2.5 seasons he has been with Baltimore from 2023 to 2025 midway, because he was then traded to the Padres at the deadline this year. In total, between his time spent between Baltimore and San Diego, he played in 144 games, 133 hits, picked up 17 home runs, a .281 batting average, and an .803 OPS. Some of his best numbers of his career. Definitely had a very strong career here at age 31. The one-time All-Star, getting the 2 years from the Pirates. And this is where I'll tell you why it's such a big deal. As I said, it's a 2-year contract that the Pirates gave out here to Ryan O'Hearn. The last time the Pirates signed any free agent to a multi-year deal was Ivan Nova. You don't know who that is? Well, he signed a 3-year, $26 million deal in December 2016. We almost had a full decade of the Pirates not giving out a single multi-year contract. They were signing guys to 1-year deals, and that was it. You want to spend more than a year with the Pirates, you either have to come up with them in the franchise. Like, that's crazy that it's been 9 years since the Pirates signed anyone to a 2-year extension. It's a multi-year extension, which means even just 2 years. They didn't sign a single person, which is crazy, and it does show their colors a little bit. It's a very sad stat. Pirates fans, I feel you, because they have, I think, the best ballpark in baseball. PNC Park is definitely the number one ballpark that I'd want to visit. And, that's the stat that comes with this. Like, Ryan O'Hearn says to the Pirates, oh, good for the Pirates. They got Ryan O'Hearn. Hey, by the way, it's the first multi-year signing since 2016 with Ivan Nova. That's crazy. But hey, Ryan O'Hearn, you've done something that no one's been able to do since 2016, and that's to get a multi-year deal from the Pirates. So good for him. Obviously coming off his, best year in terms of his career, really, when you think about it. His first-time All-Star appearance. Now 32 years old. Hopefully that can continue for him into 2026 now. And hopefully, he's joining the likes of Brandon Lau now, who's come over, Brian Reynolds, obviously O'Neal Cruz. The Pirates have had some pretty big left-handed mashers now. O'Hearn, Lau, Cruz, Horwitz, so there's some boppers there. and hopefully that team can continue to get better so they can have a good and fun 2026 on the backs of course, the best pitcher in baseball in Paul Skeens. Is it him? Is it Tarek Skubal? Who knows? But yeah, really good stuff there for O'Hearn. Congrats on the deal. And for the Pirates, sign more people to multi-year deals. You know, it looks good. Believe it or not, signing players to multi-year contracts look good for your team because that is pathetic. Anyways, here, let's move on. We got a couple more signings to just quickly mention. The first one here being the Miami Marlins. Yes, that's right. The fish in the East. They are signing Pete Fairbanks to a 1-year, $13 million deal. Pete Fairbanks has spent not his entire team or his entire career with the Rays, but just about all of it. He debuted with the Rangers in 2019. Played 8 games with Texas before the Rays trade for him that year. So he finished his rookie year with the Rays and has been with them ever since, playing in games in the World Series for them. Of course, he was with the Rays on those very good Rays teams in 2020, specifically that, Rays team with Willie Adames and Yanni Diaz, Brandon Lau, etc. He was a big part of that, and he's been a big part of this race going forward each and every single year. His ERA in the 7-year career sits at about 3.19. He's 20-24, has 90 saves, 275 games played, 265 innings pitched, with 332 strikeouts. It's what you expect from a reliever. He's a very solid reliever. And has been for pretty much his entire career. Last year, a 2.83 ERA in 61 games, 60 innings pitched, only giving up 7 home runs. I say only, but that's the most home runs he's given up in a single season. The other years, he's given up 4 homers, 2 homers, 1 homer. So he limits the ball, limits the ball in the ballpark. A factor why he gave it maybe 7 this year is because they were playing at a AAA ballpark in Steinbrenner. But yeah, Fairbanks, great ball player, great pitcher, and the Marlins get him for the back end of the bullpen, which they truly need to continue to upgrade there. So I like the move for the Fish, and he stays in that kind of area. Going from Tampa to Miami, it's not a crazy move for Pete Fairbanks there. So. Good for him. 1-year, $13 million deal there. We'll see what he can do in 2026. And that brings us to the final move to talk about here. The Mariners are signing Rob Refsnyder. It's a 1-year, $6.25 million deal. Refsnyder's been around since 2015. Spent some years with the Yankees, spent some years with the Blue Jays, spent some years with the Rays. Took 2019, did not play in 2019 before coming back, where he was with Texas in COVID year 2020. Spent a year with the Twins in 2021, and the last 4 years he has been with Boston. The Red Sox have hired him since 2022. The only team he has yet to play for in the AL East is Baltimore, though, so he needs to sign with Baltimore at some point. He's got the Yankees, got the Jays, got the Rays, got Boston. The last 4 years of the Boston have been some of his better years of his career. Last year specifically, he played in 70 games as a backup guy, had 49 hits, had a .269 batting average, an .838 OPS, had 9 home runs, the second most home runs of his career. When you look at it, actually, his home run numbers, Boston in 2025 this year, 9 homers. Boston in 2024, 11 home runs. That's 20 home runs he's hit for Boston in the last 2 years. His career, he has 33 home runs. Minus 20, that's 13 home runs that he's hit since 2015. He hit 13 home runs. In the last 2, he's hit 20. So his home run, his power is kind of being found here late in his career. I mean, he's going to be 35 this year. He's been in the league for 10 years, playing in over 540 games with 33 homers, a 255 batting average, and a 730 OPS. So, for the Mariners, he's just, your backup outfielder / second base / first base. He'll play it all, really. You get a little bit of depth there for Seattle in case of injuries. His power has been proven the last couple of years. He's finding it here late in his career. So it's a solid move for Seattle. Obviously, you need to improve on the team that almost got you guys to your first ever World Series. Rob Refsnyder, I don't think, is the piece to help you improve, but it's definitely a piece to kind of help you get through, a tough stretch in the summer, let's say, when you've got a couple injuries to worry about. You could have a couple of nice moments for your team, kind of keep you guys afloat while you get those guys back from injury. And for $6.25 million, it's a really strong depth piece, great option for the guys that were available. And yeah, for that, I think Seattle is happy with their signing. Obviously, Refsnyder as well, happy with his signing. But man, do we need to get him on Baltimore at some point before this man retires. Speaking of retiring, I think it is time for me to retire, back away, and get back to trying to be healthy again, ladies and gentlemen. That is good to do it for our episode here today. Once again, apologies for some of the coughing that happened throughout this episode. Hopefully, by the next time we have an episode, which at this rate I feel like would be next week, but we'll have to see, because that will also be New Year's and all this stuff. We'll have to figure out exactly how these holidays continue to shape up for myself. But yeah, hopefully this cold and this, well, not really cold, more of just this lingering cough in the back of my throat goes away. But I appreciate you guys all for sticking through with today's episode. I love you all. Thank you, everybody, so much. The baseball season closing on in. We had a nice episode here. Big extensions, big trades, and a big Murakami signing. More, Japanese signings happening soon as well, so stay tuned for that. And, of course, we've still got plenty of big free agents. Bo Bichette, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Framber Valdez, Rangers, Suarez. Where will those guys sign? Stay tuned and find out. Thank you, everybody, so much, and I will see you next time.